Want to know what happens when a young girl who's never left her home takes on a sorceress to rescue her awkward love? Then you should read Tress of the Emerald Sea. Hi, I'm Amanda, and this is Spineless Books, your one-stop shop for all things audiobook. Now, Tress of the Emerald Sea is my very first Brandon Sanderson book. And honestly, when an author is so hyped up, I get really nervous to pick up one of their books because I always feel like, what if I'm disappointed? I mean, can all those people really be wrong? So it makes me a little bit apprehensive, but I dove into this one having never read Brandon Sanderson before. So here's the good news. This book did not disappoint. It follows Tress, who's never left her home, and Tress is in love with Charlie, who is super awkward. Charlie, however, is a really good guy. In fact, he's such a good guy that he doesn't really mind. In fact, he supports the fact that Tress has a weird fetish with cups. She likes to collect drinking cups. So he supports her in that. By the way, he happens to be a prince, of course. But Tress goes out on this giant adventure to save Charlie when he is kidnapped by a sorceress. This is a parentally sponsored adventure, like her parents completely endorse this idea. So she heads out on this adventure, and you are quickly thrust into a magical world that honestly shouldn't make sense, but it does, because Brandon Sanderson's world building is fantastic. He does a great job of helping you understand the magic system, as weird and different from our own world as it is, with clarity and ease. So she jumps onto this adventure with really wacky characters, all of whom are very distinct and very different, and that magic system, which is key to the story, is so seamlessly threaded into the plot that it's amazing because you just follow right along, no thinking required. He hands it to you, but he doesn't make it boring even though he's handing it to you. Stylistically in this book, the narrator actually talks to you. The character that is narrating will stop and make comments like, hey, I know you were thinking this was going to happen. Or if you remember this happening, you're right. So Michael Kramer is the narrator in the audiobook, and he's wonderful. First of all, I love his general narrator voice. I think it's very classic and timeless, and it has a very storybook feel, but a mature storybook feel. And then on top of that, he does voices, accents, different ways of speaking for all of these other characters that are really distinct and really, really cool. He reminds me a little bit of Jim Dale, if you're familiar with the very famous narration of Harry Potter. I've always said that with Jim Dale and Harry Potter, you can literally hear someone say Harry, and without any context, you know who it is because his voices are that distinct. And I think Michael Kramer is fairly similar in his ability to do that. Maybe not as well known as Jim Dale, but he's really, really good. The book has almost a cinematic feel to it. In fact, the world building is so successful that you just get to ride along, and it really, really felt thorough. The pacing of the book was fantastic. There were great scenes that were a little bit longer. There were great scenes that were a little bit shorter, but everything was appropriately narrated and moderated within the length of the story to keep you in it. I never got bored. It never got dull. And the weaving of a really, really good story with a coming-of-age story, like this was an adventure and a coming-of-age story, and they just blended together perfectly. So will I read another Brandon Sanderson? Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I think anyone would like this book. I think this is even an appropriate book to read with your older children, anyone you would read Harry Potter to. It's great, it's easy, it's likable, and it's really enjoyable. So for those of you who have read a lot of Brandon Sanderson, what should I pick up next? I really have no idea where to go from here because he has so many to choose from, but I want to enjoy something as much as I enjoyed this one. I heard this was a great one to start with, but now I need to know what's my Brandon Sanderson number 2. So remember, you might love what I hate and hate what I love, so make your own opinion. But thanks for listening to mine. I really hope you like and subscribe. It helps the channel immensely. Thanks so much, everyone. See you next time.